everybody. Jonathan Mattman is Painted Love, and it's Sunday afternoon in the UK. We've got quite a nice sunny day, as you can see, lots of light coming in. And I thought I would take you on one of my journeys of practicing. So, like most, I spend a lot of time perfecting some of my techniques, one of which is the marble. And today, I'm trying a very different colourway. It's a darker colourway. Lots of people in my academy have been asking me about the graphite marble. Yeah, so this is a little bit tougher because the colours are saturated, so they're much darker. So I'm going to I might not be able to get you through the whole process because it's drying time, but I thought it might be quite nice to just take you through this colourway. When I was in London it was before Christmas, I walked past a beautiful shop front, and it had some green marble, and I had taken a close look. So I had to take a picture of it because I just loved it. It's a dark sort of Amsterdam greeny colour. And so today I'm playing with that. I'm gonna put the camera down in a little bit, and I'm gonna kind of show you the first pass. If you've not enrolled in my free marble tutorial, many of my academy students will know exactly what I'm talking about. You must enroll because there's a bit of prep work to this, and I've already brought myself up to a level of where I can work on the creative part. So it's not going to make any sense to you unless you go over. I'll put a link either in the post or in the comments somewhere. You'll find a link to register for the free tutorial. It's basically white marble with a black vein. So please do, if you haven't done it, enroll on that. You'll be able to see it. It's free of charge on me. It's a very nervousy. When I did that, it was my first tutorial, and I was very nervous. I hope you don't notice. So take a look at that. It'll explain the layers. The only thing that we do different that we speak about in the academy on the prep work, and you'll understand this when you go in, I use lacquer, which really needs 24 hours to kind of really harden. And that's just you'll know it's about layering 2 coats of paint to seal down with the lacquer. Nowadays, I just go instantly with wax. So anybody that's done it, wax is fine. People keep on asking me, wax in between the layers and then buff it really well. So when you come to the bit where it's lacquer, you can use wax, either or. It's entirely up to you. It'll make sense when you look there. So without further ado, I'm gonna talk you through what I'm doing right down here. Hi everyone, me upside down. So this is the board I'm working on. If you can't see the full thing, swipe the comments to the side. So on here, I've got, this is really a little bit similar to my Smoky Blend tutorial. So if any of you've done the Smoky Blend tutorial, all I've done here, there's a little bit of graphite in areas. There's also Amsterdam green, also furl, so there's some lighter areas. And what I've done is I've used a really fine sanding pad, and I've just taken any of the lumps and bumps. That's why it looks a bit smoky. But if you want to know how to do this overall look, it's kind of like my Smoky Blend. I'm going to try and not let this wobble. So a bit Smoky Blend. So there's patches of dark and light green. And but there is, again, there's a process underneath this that you need to find out before. So hop over. And I thought what I'd do is I'd go for a Paris Grey vein. And all I'm going to do that is I'm going to prep. I've got a lovely spray bottle, and this is just going to add moisture back. You'll see the colours a little bit back like this because it still had a bit of dustiness to it. So you can see what colours I've got. It's drying quick. Can you see? Oh yeah, you can see that lovely sort of pass of light through there. That's the furl. And then I'm going to mix up in a bowl some Paris Grey. So this is for my vein colour. You cannot use chalk paint straight out of the can. I think it would be too thick. Depending on which brand you're using, you're going to have to play around with this. And all I'm going to do is mix like a wash, really, a lovely soft wash. Where's a brush to mix it? We'll use this big brush. So the consistency wants to be about single cream. It needs to be enough pigment, but loose. So it basically, a bit more, it just wants to fall off the brush. If you dilute this too much, your paint will just wash away. That's quite good for me. So it's just, yeah, it just would trickle off the brush. That's where we want it. So that's that. And what else I've got here? I've got some old cotton cloth, and I've got my big synthetic brush. In the academy, we also did this with a natural bristle brush, which works perfectly fine. But one of these cheap synthetic wide brushes is probably now, after doing it a lot of times, is where I would go. So something like this. So this I picked up really cheap. So let's add the first pass of veins on this. All I would be doing is kind of going across, always in a 45-degree angle for marble. It just somehow looks a lot better. Everything in my bones tells me to go this way, which I'm going to go this way, even though I did my smoky blendy technique that way. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go for it. So, plenty of moisture. Now, if you don't prep this properly, as seen in the free tutorial, you won't be able to do this. So, plenty of moisture. And then I'm going to use my cloth just to take any excess where there's puddles. I'm going to go with a small brush for this. I'll pop that there. And I'm just going to go 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to put my first vein in, and I'm just going to go across. Pigment, you have to top up. And I'm just holding the brush at the end, and then maybe just pushing the brush and dragging and all sorts of weird stuff, like so. And this is just really to make the first soft pass. It'll add you, basically, it will help you with choosing where to put these veins when we go into more detail. So, as you can see, look, I'm really not worrying about it too much, because what I'm going to do is with my cloth, I'm going to soften these. So I'm patting away, like so. You'll know if there's not enough moisture on this board because the chalk paint will absorb itself. The pale colour will absorb straight in and it'll grab. So if you've got an area where it's grabbing, spritz again. Just spritz again. And then this is where this brush comes in handy. What we're going to do with this brush is any what way, we're dragging it and pulling it around. And what you'll see is it'll just soften into the background. But as you can see on the darker colours, as with graphite, it's grabbed here. So all I'm going to do here is just spritz that area. And I've got heaters right above this, this camera. So it dries quick here. The open time is very minimal with my heat. So all this is to do is add a shadow of something deep beneath. And also, what I would suggest you do, you take your cloth and you offload some of this pigment, like so. Because it builds up, it pulls the green away, or whatever colour you're using, it pulls it away from the area that you're working on. So, as you can see, it's kind of looking quite groovy already. We just missed again. So you don't have to be worried about pulling too much paint off. If you've done the prep work, it will all be fine. And just dab again. You can keep on going back with your cloth, dabbing. This also blurs the boundaries. You could use a sponge. And these are just like the highlights in the marble. Like so. So can you see already it's begun, and this is just the first pass. I'm just working on the first pass. I will dry this and then I'll go again. And I will just literally, where I've been, maybe highlight a bit more. My suggestion, if you're doing this with dark graphite or these colours that I'm using now, dark pigments, I would always, at some point on the last pass, I would wax and then go back with a really fine brush. Oh, not that one. Here's the one I've been using. So this is a rigger brush. Can you see it's got a really long head, but you can find a finer one than that. I've got one or two tucked away somewhere with really fine head, and then you can kind of tickle back over once waxed, buff it well, go back over and add a bit more depth. When you're happy with that, just wax again and it'll seal it down. So there is ways of doing this. In the Academy group, I've not really shared this. I've come straight to you guys because I know all my Academy members will be watching this, and they've been asking me about the graphite marble, and I just thought it'd be great to show with this dark Amsterdam green. So I hope that makes sense. And sometimes I even get a little bit brave and add another bit of a colour somewhere else. So I'm going to do it. Let's put some more moisture here, and I'm just going to add a bit of furl in here. So it's quite yellowy. A little bit up here. And there was lots in here, so we'll just add those colours in. Moisture. Tap them in. Clear the brush. It's a subtle difference, but it's just nice to add some other tone. I'm going to go back for the Paris Grey. How's it looking on camera? Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm happy. Keep on working it. So as you can see, some of these are nearly fading away, these Paris Grey. So I'm going to go back a little bit heavier in certain areas. And then on the last pass, I'm going to wax and then go back again with real fine detail. So let's go back for some more Paris Grey. And I'm going to kind of follow where I've already been. So I kind of went over here. That's quite nice. And we're going to connect back in here. Think craggy, or lightning, or not curvy shapes, kind of craggy shapes, because that'll work really well. And if you look at the way I'm holding the brush, I'm literally holding it by with my wrist flat up and the brush on the end. And, you know, with a bit of a shaky hand, it kind of helps that craggy look. So there we go, like that. So I could, on this point, I could dab again lightly in certain areas. But what's quite nice when the paint is nearly drying is just to take your brush again, offload, and just kind of, instead of going every way first, just kind of drag like that. And that really softens, like so. It kind of just pushes the paint in. Does that make sense? I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I just keep, you know, it's really forgiving, this technique. You can keep on going and going and going until you're happy with it. I'm gonna put lots more Paris grey over this, I think, and make it more detailed so that there's lots of like a spider's web effect over the top, I think. But for now, take care. I'm gonna carry on and I'll see you all very soon. Bye-bye.